Welcome to your subcontractor orientation with Kirsch Construction 2008 Limited. Welcome to Kirsch Construction, an excavation contractor and aggregate supply company servicing the province of Saskatchewan. We provide a variety of services. We mine and process everything from crushed aggregates to fine sands in various locations across the province. We supply and deliver aggregate material. We are trusted by the government, contractors, and homeowners alike. Site preparation is done early in the construction process. The location needs to be made ready for building to take place. Kirsch Construction has the equipment and expertise to do it well every time. Excavation is necessary for building foundations, reservoirs, and roads, among other things. It takes the right equipment and the right operators to get the job done properly. We are able to haul aggregates for any project where it's needed, when it's needed. Kirsch Construction is able to complete other construction and maintenance projects such as grading, tree moving, street sweeping, and snow blowing. Sometimes it becomes necessary for Kirsch Construction to hire outside contractors to assist us. Regardless of your role in helping Kirsch Construction, you have some responsibilities that need to be fulfilled. This video is intended to be a brief introduction to those responsibilities. It may not cover every possible scenario, and certain information presented may not apply to your situation. Prior to beginning work at KCL, your employer, or yourself if you are self-employed, is required to provide certain information. This can be done by completing the forms forwarded by a member of the KCL team. This information includes your name, your direct supervisor's name, and the contact numbers of each. This will allow KCL to contact you should there be changes at the job site, such as a change in start time. KCL also requests your emergency contact information. Please check that your emergency contact person and their contact number are correct and up to date. In the case of an emergency, KCL needs to be able to contact the appropriate person. KCL has also requested you provide any medical information you feel is relevant. This could include health conditions, allergies, prescriptions, etc. that would be relevant to a professional in the case of an emergency. Providing this information is completely voluntary, but highly recommended. All vehicles and combinations operating on a KCL site must be registered with KCL. This includes submitting the truck unit number or plate number, a valid truck safety, a valid truck registration, the trailer unit number or plate number, the valid trailer safety, and the valid trailer registration, as well as an appropriate class driver's license for any operator. If you are forced to switch out a unit, you will be required to provide this information for the replacement unit. It's important that you arrive on site with all of the appropriate personal protective equipment. The following personal protective equipment and safety equipment is required at a minimum. A hard hat in good condition. A high visibility outer layer in good condition such as a vest, jacket, shirt, sweater, etc. CSA green triangle safety boots in good condition. Access to safety glasses, access to hearing protection, access to gloves, functioning beacons on trucks and/or equipment, functioning backup beepers on trucks and/or equipment, and a fire extinguisher on or in commercial vehicles. Failure to arrive prepared for work with the above listed items will result in you being unable to begin work. KCL has many detailed policies which may overlap with those of your employer. However, we'll take a few minutes to look at some highlights. We'll begin with the harassment in the workplace policy. Harassment means any objectionable conduct, comment, or display by a person that is directed at a worker, is made on the basis of race, creed, religion, color, sex, sexual orientation, marital status, disability, physical size or weight, age, nationality, ancestry, or place of origin, and constitutes a threat to the health or safety of the worker, including the mental health or safety of the worker. Every worker, regardless of employee, is entitled to a work environment that is free of harassment. No worker, regardless of employer, shall cause or participate in harassment. If you see or witness any action that you believe constitutes harassment, report it immediately. If you are able to, report it to the KCL appointed site supervisor. If you are unable to report it to your KCL appointed site supervisor, please report it directly to the KCL office at 306-367-2165 or Meredith Dunham, the KCL Safety Coordinator at 306-501-6430. If you are uncomfortable reporting to KCL, please report to your direct employer, who will in turn report to KCL. We'll now move on to the violence in the workplace policy. Like harassment, all acts of violence are considered to be unacceptable. Violence can include, but is not limited to, intimidations, bullying, stalking, threats, physical attack, property damage, domestic and family violence, and the use of weapons. If you see or witness any action that you believe constitutes workplace violence, report it immediately. If you are able to, report it to the KCL appointed site supervisor. If you are unable to report it to your KCL appointed site supervisor, please report it directly to the KCL office at 306-367-2165 or Meredith Dunham, the KCL Safety Coordinator at 306-501-6430. If you are uncomfortable reporting to KCL, please report to your direct employer, who will in turn report to KCL. Fit for duty policy. It is imperative that each and every worker arrives fit for duty. You must take the time to evaluate your physical and mental condition each day, considering the following. Your system must be free of the influence and after effects of alcohol. Your system must be free of the influence and after effects of illegal drugs or recreational cannabis. You must not be using prescription medication which affects your ability to perform your job safely. You must not be suffering the effects of fatigue. A full night's sleep is essential. And be in a mental state where your judgment, task performance, or workplace behavior is not being negatively affected. KCL will not knowingly permit a person to remain in the workplace while their ability to work is affected by alcohol, a drug, or other substance which may endanger the employee or anyone else. KCL will not knowingly permit a person to remain in the workplace if their mental state does not allow for the safe completion of their job tasks. If you are believed to not be fit for duty, your KCL appointed supervisor will pull you aside. Your direct employer will be notified. During this time, your health and safety will be KCL's priority, and you will be taken to a medical facility if necessary. To work effectively and safely at KCL, you will be required to participate in all safety-related activities. This includes participating in any and all safety meetings held on site, participating in and signing daily hazard assessments, participating in and signing worksite safety inspections, reviewing, signing, and following traffic control plans, completing and submitting a daily inspection of your equipment. The method of submission will be determined on a case-by-case basis, and reporting any and all personal injuries, property damage, hazards, and near-miss accidents. To manage safety documentation, KCL uses a program called SiteDocs, which every KCL employee has access to on their smartphone. Any KCL employee is able to provide you access to the KCL Safety Manual, STSs, relevant legislation, and more. Any KCL employee is able to help you review and sign relevant site documentation. Some subcontractors may be provided a SiteDocs account to enable them direct access to these resources. If you have not been provided a SiteDocs account, you will be required to sign all documentation with the assistance of a KCL employee. You are required to meet all of the following requirements. If you do not understand any of the following requirements or are unsure if you are able to meet them, please contact KCL. We are here to help. All truck owners and operators shall ensure that their equipment meets all operational and maintenance requirements under the following: the Vehicle Weight and Dimension Regulations, the Commercial Vehicles Hours of Service Regulations, Saskatchewan Employment Act and Occupational Health and Safety Regulations, the Traffic Safety Act, the National Safety Code Standards, the Trip Inspection Regulations, and all other relevant legislation. All drivers must comply with all company safety policies and procedures. Consuming, being in possession of, or under the influence of alcohol or drugs on KCL property or projects is cause for immediate removal from site. All workers are to follow site personal protective equipment requirements at all times. Any personal injuries, property damage, hazards, and near-miss accidents must be reported immediately to a supervisor of KCL. Drivers are to be in a safe position while the truck is being loaded. Tailgates must be properly fitted when closed to avoid spillage. Tarps are to be used when conditions require it and when the KCL site supervisor requests it. All trucks are to be loaded in a manner to prevent spillage when traveling. No truck will be permitted to load in excess of its maximum allowable weight. Overloads will not be permitted. All trucks must travel on designated haul roads. If there is a road hazard, alert the KCL site supervisor immediately. All posted speed limits, permanent or temporary, must be adhered to. Any signal or flag personnel shall be obeyed at all times. All posted traffic signs are to be obeyed. Rolling stops and failure to yield will not be permitted. There will be no passing within the pit or stockpile areas. When traveling on designated haul roads, passing is permitted only when safe to do so. No passing zones may be designated. During hauling operations, a safe stopping distance must be maintained between trucks. Trucks shall not be operated in a reckless or careless manner. Truck operators are responsible for making themselves aware of overhead power lines and shall allow the safe clearance distances as outlined in the OH&S regulations. If a driver must lift their box while passing under a power line, they will not do so unless a spotter is in place. The truck driver or their employer is responsible for any damage resulting from not adhering to the guidelines. No work shall be performed under a raised truck box, trailer box, or cab until they have been securely blocked. No work shall be performed under a piece of equipment being supported by a jack only. Blocks or jack stands must be used. Remove any rocks that are wedged between dual wheels. After loading or dumping, operators must remove any loose material from the equipment. All trucks are to be equipped with a functional backup alarm. All trucks are to be equipped with a functional amber beacon system to be used in the locations indicated by the KCL site supervisor. Truck operators are to use extreme caution while driving on school bus routes. Headlights are to be used at all times when on haul routes and job sites. No garbage shall be dumped on either the project site or the pit area. Trucks shall deposit litter at appropriate places. Cell phone usage while operating heavy equipment or a motor vehicle has been proven to be hazardous to workers and the motoring public. As such, anyone using a cell phone must use a hands-free device while operating equipment or vehicles. Texting or other physical use of a phone is only permitted provided the machinery or vehicle being operated is safely parked and the employee's attention is not otherwise required. Truck operators must be able to find and provide the following should it be required on site: truck and trailer registration, truck and trailer safety, driver's license, truck and trailer inspection, logbook if required by the day's activity, NSC safety certificate, Schedule 1, and any applicable permits. Truck operators are expected to abide by the hours of service regulations for drivers of commercial vehicles. KCL is a provincial carrier and works within those limits. If you are a federal carrier, please alert KCL as this may affect your ability to work the KCL schedule. Realize that KCL will not tolerate any use of alcohol or drugs while in control of a vehicle. All workers must be able and willing to correct unsafe working conditions as they are identified. Any concerns related to unsafe working conditions are to be brought to the attention of the KCL site supervisor. Any accidents or injuries are to be reported to the KCL site supervisor as soon as practicable. All workers are able and willing to participate in safety meetings. All workers are able and willing to follow through on corrective action measures to eliminate and/or minimize hazards before work commences. All workers are able to provide themselves with safe tools and equipment, as required, before work commences. Only authorized workers are to be permitted on site. No unauthorized passengers are to be transported in vehicles. We are all a team. You've been brought on to help KCL be successful, and KCL may be able to provide the same. Should you have a breakdown on site, talk to your KCL site supervisor. We may have the tools, parts, people, or advice required. We may be able to pick up necessary items or make sure you safely get to your next destination. If you're missing a necessary item, talk to your KCL site supervisor. We may be able to loan you an item until you are able to procure your own. If you're unsure of what to do, let us know. We're more than happy to help. If you're successful, so is KCL. And of course, remember to stay safe.